Niño phenomenon looms. President Bongbong Marcos calls on Filipinos to take part in the observance of Earth Hour tonight. And industry projections indicate a rollback in the prices of petroleum products next week. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Angela Lagunzal. We begin the newscast with the National Water Resources Board urging the public to conserve water amid the looming impact of El Nino. NWRB Executive Director Sevilio David Jr. said saving water may help prevent a repeat of what happened in 2019, wherein the level of Angat Dam dropped from the 180-meter minimum operating level to as low as 116 meters. Sevilio assured the public that concerned agencies are now implementing the necessary mitigation measures. He added that there are also available water treatment plants that will help augment the water requirement. Pag-asa issued an El Nino watch indicating the increased likelihood of below normal rainfall conditions. The Weather Bureau said this will likely develop in July to September this year and may persist until 2024. Meanwhile, experts warn about illnesses caused by hot weather such as heat stroke. Gio Robles with the report.
Can't be denied that summer has arrived. Food delivery rider Ronald had to stop on the sidewalk due to the intense heat on EDSA.
Medyo pasakit kasi nga sa sobrang init, kailangan namin dumiskarte. Hanap ng lilim.
Jerry, who works as a parking attendant, is also finding ways to avoid the scorching heat of the sun. Jerry has to be on duty from 6 in the morning until 2 p.m., meaning that he has no escape from the hot weather.
Minsan, 7 sir, mainit na ho. Kaya minsan po, mga puno yan, dyan po kami mga nagtatago.
Along with summer comes the reminder from experts about illnesses caused by hot weather, such as the deadly heat stroke. One doctor warned that the common symptoms of excessive sun exposure usually begin with simple dizziness.
Heat stroke, ito yung most serious na heat-related illness na pwedeng ma-encounter ng isang tao kapag sobrang init ng panahon.
Aside from dizziness, some symptoms of heat stroke are red and itchy skin, high body temperature but not sweating, confusion and restlessness, and loss of consciousness. According to Dr. Chua, even children are not safe from the dangers of heat stroke. So in case of experiencing symptoms, she has this advice to parents.
Kailangan dalhin mo yung anak mo sa cooler place, painumin ng maraming tubig, and pwede natin to punas-punasan ng mga malalamig na bimpo or with ice, no, para to lower down ng yung body temperature.
If one can't avoid being exposed under the sun like riders and cyclists, Dr. Chua said to always drink water to avoid dehydration. For News 5, Gio Robles, Pier 1 News.
President Bongbong Marcos is encouraging the public to switch their lights off for Earth Hour. In a video posted by the Energy Department, Marcos said the symbolic move will enforce action plans for the benefit of the planet. He added that this will remind everyone to become part of the solution amid challenges brought about by climate change. The annual global movement initiated by the Worldwide Fund for Nature will start from 8:30 and will end by 9:30 later tonight.
May this shared activity remind everyone that environmental preservation is an intergenerational responsibility and that it should become our individual and collective priority in the pursuit of progress and prosperity.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Angela Lagunzad. Motorists can expect lower prices of petroleum products next week. Unioil projects that diesel prices would decline by as much as 1 peso and 20 centavos per liter. Prices of gasoline are likewise expected to be slashed by up to 70 centavos per liter. The Energy Department attributes this possible rollback to concerns about the global banking sector and other factors. How did the COVID-19 pandemic change work commutes around the world? Bloomberg reporters share their journey to the office in this report.
It's been nearly 3 years since the pandemic first began, and for many, this meant reshaping the way we work and live. So, how has the pandemic changed the way we commute around the world? We followed reporters across 5 cities to find out.
This is the start of my commute. It's going to be about 30-40 minutes door to door. It's a sunny day in Tokyo, but it's quite cold.
So this is the bicycle that I bought in the summer of 2020. Back then I was quite concerned about riding trains, so I decided to invest in one of these. Throughout the pandemic and now it's been a really nice companion. I've been using this to explore Tokyo and also now use it for commute.
I'm quite lucky to be living in a neighborhood that has a long stretch of bike lane. Tokyo's been building out more of these bike lanes and other bikeable paths throughout the last few years. Made a terrible mistake of not bringing sunglasses today. It's really blinding. This is the crossing that the on-street bike lane ends. So from now on, I have to share the road with the cars. We're in the final stretch of my commute to work. This is the Imperial Palace, and this is the boat that surrounds the palace. We're at the end of my commute to work. The building in the center is the Tokyo Station, or office is here. On a sunny day like today, it makes for a nice, refreshing ride. Thanks for coming on my commute ride with me.
One thing that I learned is that tubes and trains can be unreliable, and when COVID came along, and with all these health considerations as well, I decided to try and move closer to the office so that I would be able to actually use my own 2 feet and walk to work. Now it gives me a bit of exercise in the morning, it wakes me up, and it definitely means that I get to work more on time because there are no delays when it comes to your feet. You can't use that excuse anymore. Now in London there's been a huge increase in alternative transport, whether that's biking or walking or even e-scooters. Our municipal bike program, Santander Cycles, has had a huge increase. And there have been many other private companies like Dot and Lime that have e-bikes and e-scooters that have also seen increased usage, and you see them all throughout the city. Now tube usage is also up, and the city is definitely back, but alternative transport is definitely seeing a huge comeback.
I'm here in New York City at the 59th Street and Lexington Avenue subway station. It takes me about 15 to 20 minutes on a good day to get from my apartment to my office, but a lot has changed since the pandemic. I now work a hybrid schedule, so I only go into the office 3 days a week, which has cut down on my train time tremendously. The trains have seen an increase in crime throughout the pandemic, which has led me to no longer stand on the edge of the platform and not play my music as loud. But you are starting to see more people bike to work and even walk as people have altered their commuting patterns.
I started driving myself after the pandemic stopped, or rather when the lockdowns lifted, because it gave me the surety of getting to work on time as public transport got more and more unreliable. I quite like driving. In the morning especially, I absolutely love it, and it's quite peaceful. But in the afternoon, it's a bit of a pain, and if I actually get out at 6 o'clock in the evening, it's the worst of all. It can take you as long as 2+ hours on the road, and the question is, are you going to invest that much time to get to office? Mumbai is really a city on the repair. There's a lot of infrastructure projects, both old and new, that are under work. And because of that, there are bottlenecks all across the city. I know that this is not the most sustainable form of transport. I know the fossil fuel emissions involved, and it's not the greenest. But as long as I need to use multiple modes of transport to get to work, it just does not make sense.
This is the Mexico City apartment where I spent the pandemic. It takes just 5 seconds to walk from the bedroom to my desk in the living room. I really came to appreciate this apartment during the pandemic because of the big, well-lit living room. And the balcony allowed me to get some air while watching people come and go. A safe social interaction for a strange time. When I'm not working from home in Mexico City, I ride my folding bike into the office, often using this bike lane, the one at Insurgentes Avenue, one of many bike lanes created by the city during the pandemic. For me, it's a 10 to 15 minute bike ride. There are more cyclists out here since the pandemic, but cars still dominate the city. We're all stressed out after the isolation of the pandemic, and you can see it on the street. If you complain to a driver parked in the bike lane, you may be followed. Thank God for the adrenaline of riding a bike.
Thanks for coming along for our commutes.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again tomorrow as we monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Angela Lagunzad. We are One News.